Staff Orders for the Public Service, Chapter 4, Code of Conduct. The framework. The public service is governed by established statutes, regulations, orders, and procedures. These are translated into a list of behavior expectations deemed to be acceptable, which may be considered as a code of conduct for all public officers, including those in managerial positions. The expectations listed in these orders apply generally to all members of the public service. In addition, based on the nature of the organization, other operational and/or personal or professional requirements might apply. Taken together, the combined list of expectations establishes the framework for equity and fairness within the organization, outlines the rights, privileges, and obligations of individuals, and becomes the standard or benchmark against which the conduct of both managers and employees will be assessed. It is the responsibility for each permanent secretary/head of department to ensure that the complete set of behavior expectations is formulated, communicated to everyone within the ministry/department, and posted at convenient locations as a constant reminder. Violation of any of the behavior expectations could lead to disciplinary measures being taken. Behavior expectations. Absence from duty. Absence from duty due to illness or other emergencies must be communicated to the appropriate authority within the organization as soon as possible, but no later than the end of the first day of absence. Absence from duty for any other reason should be pre-arranged and authorized by the appropriate authority within the ministry or department. So if it's not an emergency and it is a planned absence, you must fill out the appropriate form, and it must be signed by the appropriate authority, whether you're head of department or other persons. Permanent secretaries are required to notify their respective ministries and the designated head of civil service of any absence from duty. Dress code. Officers should be appropriately dressed for work at all times in a manner which demonstrates professionalism, decency, and a respect for colleagues, clients, and members of the general public. In certain circumstances, specific attire, example uniform, may be required. Standard of behavior. All officers are expected to demonstrate the highest level of professional conduct and personal integrity in the performance of their duties and in serving the public. The following are some examples of behavior that are unacceptable. Excessive noise which disrupt others, colleagues, example colleagues, clients, or customers. Illegal possession and or use of firearm, weapons, or explosives. Fighting or other forms of physical disturbance. Any act of sabotage. Careless abuse or theft of government property. Larceny or theft from others, such as colleagues, clients, and customers. Use of obscene or threatening language. Insubordination, which is the failure to obey a reasonable order from a supervisor. So those are unacceptable. Service standard. Officers are expected to treat everyone, including other public officers, clients, and members of the general public with courtesy, respect, fairness, and objectivity. Officers should display a positive attitude and be proactive in the exercise of their duties, seeking to understand and to satisfy the real needs of clients, volunteering information and services as appropriate. In the exercise of official duties, no officer shall confer any special benefit and or give preferential treatment to anyone on the basis of any special relationship. Right? All persons must be treated the same, whether it's your brother or sister or unrelated person. Requests for service must be dealt with in a manner which is timely, accurate, and complete. The standards established in Citizens' Charter must be adhered to. Display and decorations. Any item of display or decoration should be presented in a manner which is tidy and in good taste. Well, I guess this is talking about maybe the hair, eyelashes, and those things. The decoration of the face, makeup. It could be of the person's motor vehicle, the clothes, whatever it is, or their office. Alright, care must be exercised to avoid the display of items which may be offensive to good taste and public morale, or which may reflect bias or discrimination on the grounds of race, religion, or gender. Political activity. Officers are expressly forbidden to engage in any type of partisan political activity in any election at any level. In the absence of official duties, no service or benefit should be denied or provided to anyone on the basis of partisan political affiliation. In the exercise of official duties, officers must be required to provide factual information to explain or clarify government policy. Substance abuse. The use of alcohol, intoxicants, or any illegal substance is prohibited at the workplace. Arriving at work under the influence of any of the substances noted above is also prohibited. Engagement in private work. Officers may engage in private work. That means you're working on the side. Only under specified conditions and with prior permission from the appropriate authority/service commissions based upon an assessment of potential for conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. A conflict of interest may be deemed to exist under any of the following circumstances: engagement in private activities similar to official functions. So in that case, you're making money doing the same thing that you would have done at work. Using information and or material gained from the official position for private gain. Exploiting the status and privilege of one's position for private gain. That means trying to influence persons to buy your service from the fact that you hold that position in the government. That's prohibited. That's a conflict of interest. Soliciting and or accepting payment and or any other consideration relating to the performance of or neglect of official duties. So in that case, you're asking for money for actually doing your own work, right? Don't do that. Well, money otherwise than the established payment that you should get. So that's a conflict of interest. Conducting private business during work hours and are on government property. That's a no-no. Engaging in transactions with relatives or family members or an organization in which relatives or family members have interest. That's nepotism. Ownership of investment or shares in any company or undertaking. Ownership of investment or shares in any company or undertaking. Well, acting as auditors or directors of companies or societies. Well, these last two you'll have to have special permission to own shares in companies and act as auditors or directors. Alright. In order to address the potential for conflict of interest, officers should in all instances inform the appropriate authority of any such undertaking, seek clarification, and get permission. Any such permission would be subject to periodic review. Engagement in work for statutory bodies and public companies. Officers may engage in work for statutory bodies and government-owned companies only with the written permission of the appropriate authority. The ministry or department shall seek to recover the reasonable cost associated with the task, including an honorarium which may be paid to the officer executing the duty. Exercise of managerial authority. Managers are expected to exercise their authority fairly and even-handedly. The exercise of authority must be to achieve the goals of the organization, results, outputs, etc., consistent with the committed resources. The exercise of authority should be consistent with sound human resource management practices. Managers who are found to be abusive or vindictive in the exercise of authority shall be subject to disciplinary measures. Gifts and exchanges. We will continue looking at this chapter in a different video.